okay? This poem is a debate between two of our own body parts. Okay, so it is nose versus your eyes, basically. I was pointing at ears though. Okay, and such poems, they talk about a lot more than what what it suggests. जैसे इसमें आपको ऐसा लग रहा होगा कि just nose और eyes का debate है, but if you look at it deeply, आपको और भी चीजों की meaning उससे निकल के आएगा. So while we are doing it, I'll let you know a couple of questions that were asked in your course, your FYJC exams a couple of years were also about these things. So we'll do that a little bit, but mostly we'll discuss the basic meaning of this poem. It's not a very difficult poem, and it is, it's sort of a funny poem. You can look at it that way. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's read a little bit about William Cowper first. Okay. So this is William Cowper. We have a very beautiful picture of him. He was one of the most popular 18th century English poets and composer of hymns. Hymns भी एक type का song-ish consider कर सकते हो आप उसको. His poems deal with nature and everyday life. He is aptly described by Samuel Taylor Coleridge as the best modern poet of his times. Okay. Now, when he says modern, as I've told you guys before, it doesn't mean हमारे वाला modern. It is एक type of लिखने का तरीका होता है जिसको modernist writing कहते हैं, modern तरीके से लिखना कहते हैं in English literature. So he was the best modern poet of his times, जो वो लिख रहे थे 18th century. Okay. What you can understand about modern writing is that basically whenever anybody is being called this, that means वो थोड़ा सा normal से हटके लिखते हैं. They write about things that we don't usually think about. We don't usually look at these things and be like, okay, इस पे poem लिख सकते हैं. Okay, थोड़ा सा different concept they'll be using in their poetry or in their work of art. It can be poetry, plays, anything. Though he studied jurisprudence is basically एक law का ही एक branch होता है. Okay. He later admitted that he was not much inclined to the legal profession. He didn't like that very much. He wrote, "Happy is the one who knows just as much of the law to make himself as a little merry now, and then with the solemnity of the judicial proceedings." So he says that everybody should know a little bit of law so that you are able to basically solve your own problems. But after he had learned law and he was pursuing that profession, he also did not like it that much. So he wanted to do other things as well. Okay. Now look at this. This looks like a debate between the nose and eyes, but this is also what it is. It is nose versus eyes is a satire on the judiciary system. Satire क्या होता है? A satire is basically mocking something. It is questioning something. Okay. So let's say if I wanted to have a satire on offline exams during COVID, then I will talk about the fact that, should people risk their lives to give exams? Because COVID is a lethal thing. It's a very dangerous disease, right? That's why we were all at home for so long. But now that the exams are coming, people, colleges or let's say various education boards have decided that exams should be offline. From the other side, the debate is that offline exams are necessary and all of that is there. So that is, then I will be presenting my point as in the form of satire. Okay. मैं jokingly बोलूंगी, yes, we definitely need to sacrifice our lives for an exam. That will be like a satire. Okay. So basically, this is a satire about the judiciary system. आपने बहुत commonly सुना होगा, the law is blind. कानून अंधा होता है. It only listens to all the arguments that you give in court. This is what इस पे उसके ऊपर satire है. Okay. That the law listens to everyone. It also mocks, that is what they are coming to. It also mocks the stone blind justice in a humorous manner, emphasizing upon the lack of empathy and common sense. Okay, if you've seen any of these movies that are very strongly based on law, movies like Pink, Pink, Amitabh Bachchan wala Pink movie, देखा आप में से किसी ने? It's a good movie. Watch it later. Not now, exams ki wajah se. But there are quite a few movies who talk about this, how it's difficult to bring people to justice. There are reasons why it's difficult and it's justified completely. But it is nonetheless very difficult to bring people to justice, very difficult to prove the truth. Right? So that is what it is mocking. Ye jo satire hai, ye us pe hai. Okay, now let's start by understanding the poem. Okay, who wants to read? We'll read paragraph wise.
Can I, Didi?
Yes, go ahead, Lakshmi.
Didi, first paragraph.
Yes, first paragraph, please.
Noise versus eyes. Between
nose versus eyes. Nose.
No, sorry, Didi. Nose versus eyes. Between nose and eyes, strange contents across the spectacles set him unhappy, wrong. The point of dispute was, has all the world to know, to which the said spectacles accord to the Hegel.
We'll stop here, Lakshmi. Lakshmi, I want you to focus more on what you're reading when you are reading, okay? So, and if you don't know how to pronounce a word, pause and ask me. I'll help you. Okay? So this is how, this word is spectacles. Okay? I'll read it one more time. Pay attention now. Okay? Between nose and eyes, a strange contest arose. Contest क्या होता है? Contest में participate किया है आपने कभी? Debate contest, singing contest, competitions essentially. Okay? Arose means, arose is utha. Okay? आपने arise सुना है? A problem, किसी कोई चीज arise होती है?
Yes, खड़ा होना.
Yes, perfect. So arose उसी का form. It's the past form of the same word. Okay. The spectacles set them unhappily wrong. Okay. Spectacles means specs को कहते हैं. Specs is the short form of spectacles. Okay. और उन्होंने क्या किया? They set them unhappily wrong. The point in dispute was, as all the world knows, to which the said spectacles ought to belong. What was the point? The point was कि ये जो spectacles आप पहनते हो, ये किसके through? Who is supporting them? किसके लिए है ये? Why are these spectacles there? Okay. Why are they? Or who is helping the body more in case of the spectacles? Is it the nose because the spectacles sit on the nose, or is it the eyes because eyes need to see with the help of these spectacles? Okay, it's a funny argument, right? Don't you think? Yes. What do you guys think? Who's more important? Is it the eyes or is it the nose?
I think the eyes.
You think eyes? Okay.
Yes.
Does everyone agree with Lakshmi or does someone disagree?
अगर आईज खराब नहीं होगी तो नोज को इतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं करना पड़ेगा.
See, nose has to put up with so much hard work because eyes are not doing their work, right? That's a good argument, Muskan. Let's see what William Cowper has it. Okay. Who wants to read the next paragraph? किसी का रीड करने का मन नहीं है? Difficult लग रही है क्या आपको poem? Yes, please, go ahead.
So Tom was the lawyer and agreed the cause with great deal of skill and a wig full of learning, while Chief Baron Ear said to balance the laws so formed for his talent in nicely
discerning. That's a good one. Okay. Now let's understand what he's trying to say in this next paragraph. Okay. So the tongue was the lawyer. It makes sense. The lawyer has to talk a lot, right? So the tongue became the lawyer. Okay.
This is a personification figure of speech.
Yes, it's अगर tongue एक इंसान बन के argue कर रहा है, it's personification. Well done. Okay, so the tongue was the lawyer and argued the cause. Argument करने को क्या कहते हैं? मैंने आपको समझाया था ना. Argue करना किसी से मतलब sort of झगड़े के तरीके से बात करना. ठीक है? जैसे आपकी, for example, your mom tells you to do something and you're like, no, मुझे नहीं करना है. And she's like, why don't you want to do? And then you start fighting with her. कि मैं सारा काम करती हूँ, मैं सारा काम. That's an argument. Okay, so and argued the cause with great deal of skill and a wig full of learning. Okay, so पुराने टाइम के जो जजेस होते थे, पुराने टाइम के जो जजेस होते थे, और जैसे इसको विलियम कॉपर को भी अगर आप देखो ना, वो ऐसी बड़ी सी ऐसे वाइट कलर की विग पहनते थे. आपने देखा है कार्टून्स में? Have you ever seen it in cartoons? And so they used to wear a huge wig of curly hair, very short curly hair, very weird looking, but that was a part of their uniform. Okay, so a wig full of learnings. While Chief Baron, ear ko Chief Baron banaya, okay, sat to balance the laws. Alright, they sat down and they were listening. So basically, Chief Baron was the judge. Okay. Now Lord Baron and Chief, basically जो Baron, you can look at that person as a very powerful person of that time, जिसमें वो लिख रहे हैं. ठीक है? Remember this is a satire. Satire में लोगों का भी मजाक उड़ाते हैं. Okay? Satire is making fun of people, commenting on things, on how the society is functioning, सब कुछ कैसा चल रहा है. Now he is someone who was a lawyer. So he is critiquing what he has seen most in his professional career. Okay? So famed, so famed, famous होना जिसे कहते हैं ना, उससे है ये word. Okay? जैसे कोई famous celebrity होता है, from the same so that famous comes actually from fame. Fame, F-A-M-E, means popularity. Okay? So he's famed, that means he's famous for his talent in nicely discerning. What is the meaning of this word discerning? Let's look at what your book says. It says showing good judgment. किसी भी चीज को ध्यान से सुनना, and उसका discerning is basically उसको solve करना, उसका मतलब निकालना.
सही suggestion देना.
Yeah. Basically, let's say I go to Lakshmi and she listens to me with a discerning ear. That means she's listening to me. Also, she's trying to solve my problem. Give me some sound solution for my problem. Okay? Yes, Neha.
Like advice.
Yes, like an advice.
And also there is sujav.
Yeah, sujav is exactly the same thing in Hindi. Perfect. Okay, who wants to read the next paragraph? Sneha, do you want to try reading the next paragraph?
Yes,
okay.
Didi.
All right, we'll have... Go ahead.
In behalf of nose, it was a quickly appear, and your lordship, he said, will undoubtedly find that the nose has a spectral word always in there, which amount to position time out of.
Okay, perfect. So now we are starting with the nose's argument. The next paragraph, I'll give it for you to read. Okay, Shanaz? I saw you raise your hand. All right. So let's take a look at this. In behalf of the nose, now this is how the argument is starting. Okay, like how they fight cases in the court. In behalf of the nose, it will quickly appear, and your lordship, he said, will undoubtedly find that the nose has had spectacles always in wear, which amounts to position time out of mind. Okay, so the debate is whether these spectacles belong to the eyes or the nose. Okay, now he's saying, because the nose is always wearing the spectacles, the nose is always in possession of the spectacles, right? Makes sense. The spectacles belong to the nose, right? This is the argument that he's giving. Okay. In behalf of the nose, it will quickly appear that your lordship, जैसे judge को बोलते हैं, जैसे in Bollywood movies you would have heard, milord हम चाहते हैं कि, ऐसा सुना है आपने?
My lord.
Yes. So that's the same thing as your lordship. Okay. Will undoubtedly find that the nose has had spectacles always in wear. Of course, it's undoubtable that the specs are always resting on the nose, right? So that what does that mean? That this amounts to the fact that the nose is in possession. किसी चीज को to be in possession of something means कोई चीज आपके पास होना. Let's say I am in possession of my hair right now. Okay. So I am in possession. I have it with me right now. Okay. You can be in possession. Let's say I give a very huge suitcase to Muskan. Okay. And Muskan, then she gives it to Karishma. Okay. And later I'm like, Muskan, where's the suitcase? So Muskan will say, Karishma is in possession of the suitcase. Okay. That means the suitcase is with Karishma. Make sense? Samjha sabko ye? Perfect. Okay. Let's read the next paragraph. I think Shehnaz had raised her hand, right? Yes, Karishma, do you have a doubt?
No, Didi.
Sorry, read karna tha aapko?
Yes, Didi.
Right after this paragraph, I'll have you read. Okay? Yes, ma'am, you had a doubt?
Rakshita, I'm so sorry. Just really quickly, what time will your class be ending today, sweetheart?
At 7, please.
Okay. Would you be kind enough to just drop a WhatsApp because we have the UN practice? So, yes. Thank you so much, Rakshita. Greatly appreciate it. Sorry, everybody, to interrupt your class. Thank you.
No, ma'am. No problem, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Shehnaz, go ahead. Can you hear us? All right, lovely. Shehnaz, आपका नेटवर्क में इशू हो रहा है? Love, you're on mute. I can't hear you. Okay, she's having network issues. All right, let's do this. We will have Karishma read first and then Shehnaz can come and read.
Okay, Didi. Again would your lordship a moment suppose ties a cause that has happened.
Karishma, we've not
And
read
maybe-
this paragraph. Please, then holding the spectacles.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, Didi, sorry. Then holding the spectacles up to the court, your lordship observe they are made with a straddle as wide as the right of the nose is, in short, designed to sit close to it, just like a saddle.
Perfect. So then this is the argument still being given by the nose. Okay. Then holding the spectacles up to court. So the tongue is just, you know how you show evidence to someone when you are arguing something, right? I want to show this piece of evidence. This is the murder weapon, like that. Just like that, the tongue is, let's say, holding the spectacles to the court. And what is he showing? He's showing that your lordship observes they were made with a straddle. What's a straddle? See, ये से आपको bridge दिख रहा है? ये specs में जिस जो part आपकी nose पे आप रखते हो specs का, have you seen that? That looks like a bridge, no? Like a small U-shaped part. So that looks like a straddle. Basically, straddle is also, so you use it for horse riding also. So जिस पे आपने horse riding देखी है किसी भी इंसान को करते हुए, how the seat that they sit on, वो दोनों हॉर्स के दोनों साइड होती है ना, ब्राउन कलर की लेदर टाइप की सीट होती है जिस पे आप बैठते हैं. Give me a thumbs up if you know what it is like. You know? Perfect. So अगर आपने मूवीज में कहीं पे भी देखा होगा हॉर्स राइडिंग का, that is how it looks. Okay, that seat. So that is so basically something which is something which is extended on both sides. So this looks like a straddle. Okay, it's as wide as the ridge. जो ये इधर का इतना अपना nose है, it's as wide as the ridge of the nose. Okay, in short, it was designed to sit close to it, just like a saddle. Saddle is actually the thing जिस पे horse बैठता है उसको saddle कहते हैं. Sorry, जिस पे horse नहीं बैठता, जिस पे हम बैठते हैं जब हम horse को ride करते हैं. So that is actually a saddle. Okay. So, but now the next argument is that it was made for it to sit like this. ऐसा नहीं है कि spectacles को, if you look at it this way, eyes के हिसाब से कोई adjustment नहीं है spectacles में. The only thing that is there in the shape of the spectacles is this, this sort of a place, that is the curve is there, and that curve is exactly perfect to sit on our noses, right? If it was too wide, then it will constantly keep slipping, right? It'll keep falling. So it's exactly the shape for it to sit there. That's the next argument that they're giving. Okay. All right. Shahnaz, do you have better network now? Do you want to read the next paragraph?
Yes, Didi.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Again, will your lordship a moment suppose since a case that has happened and may be again that the visage and contents had not a nose, pray who would or what would wear spectacles then?
Perfect. Okay. So now he's going to talk about the fact अगर किसी की nose ना हो, okay, then क्या होता? Alright. So again with your lordship, a moment suppose. अब ऐसा मान लीजिए, ऐसे बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है? Just suppose for a moment. Suppose means to assume something. अब मान लो. This is the case that has happened and maybe again. So he's arguing, these arguments are just the kind of arguments that lawyers give in court. Okay? That this thing has happened. It might happen again. So please assume that this happens. Then what will? That the visage or countenance. Okay? Countenance here, your book is saying that it means the face. Countenance is also used a lot of times for your appearance. Okay, so whatever is visible right now of me is my countenance. Okay? Had not a nose. अगर किसी इंसान को nose ही नहीं होती तो, pray who would or who could wear spectacles then? If someone did not have a nose, they would never be able to wear spectacles, right? Doesn't it make more sense that nose own these spectacles? Okay? All three of these arguments were by nose. All right? Everybody understood? ये सबको समझ में आया अभी तक यहाँ तक का? Perfect. Let's move to our last 3 paragraphs. All right. Who wants to read next? Let me pick. Okay. Sneha, go ahead.
When the whole it appear and my argument shows with a reason the court will never Didi, what that word?
Condemn.
That is that the spectacles plainly were made for the noses and the nose was as plainly intended for them.
Perfect. You read very well. On the whole, it appears now, tongue was arguing for the nose, right? Now the tongue is concluding the argument. Okay? On the whole, it appears, किसी चीज को आप summarize करते हो ना वैसे बोल रहे हैं. On the whole, it appears, and my argument shows with a reasoning that the court will never condemn. This is again, it's a satire on the court. If it makes sense, then the court will never condemn it, right? The court will never say, no, it's wrong because it doesn't, this is not common sense. This is just an argument you're giving. No, the court will listen to it and it will agree if that argument makes sense. Okay? So the court will never condemn this. That's a satire on the court. Condemn means, मतलब किसी चीज को disapprove करना. Let's say I condemn not turning on videos in the class, or I condemn not talking in the class, right? Because I want you guys, not the talking amongst yourself, but talking as in talking to me, giving answers, right? So that is condemn. किसी भी चीज को disapprove करना, उसको अच्छे regard में ना ले. Let's say my college used to condemn eating in the classroom, so we were only allowed to eat in the canteen. It happens to you guys as well. That's college life. So that is condemn. Okay, that the spectacles plainly were made for the nose. उसे बोलते कि अभी तक मैंने जितने भी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दिए उससे आपको समझ में जरूर आ गया होगा that these spectacles, no, they were definitely made for the nose, and the nose was as plainly intended for them. He's just saying that they are made for each other. जो nose है उसके लिए spectacles बने हैं और spectacles के लिए nose बनी है human body में. That is how it is. There's no argument that you can give now against it. Okay. Now tongue is arguing both sides. Huh? Now in the next paragraph we'll see the tongue will argue the side of the eyes again. Okay. All right. Who wants to read this part? Pranali, आपको read करना है? Pranali, can you hear me? I think she's having some network issue. Zainab, आपको आवाज आ रही है मेरी? Zainab, can you hear me? Muskan, आप read करोगे? Let's take it from the top.
Then shifting his side as a lawyer knows how, he pleaded again in behalf of the eyes. But what were his arguments? Few people know. For the court did not think they were equally wise.
Perfect. Now, see, this is again, he's again satirizing lawyers here, right? This is again a satire on lawyers. Then shifting his side as a lawyer knows how. Okay? So it is said that lawyers can argue anything, right? Because that is their job. It's their job to present arguments, right? So that is what he's saying. If you like arguing, you maybe want to consider, trying if you like law. All right. So he's saying then shifting his side. पहले वो दूसरी side से argue कर रहे थे, right? The tongue was arguing from the side of the nose. Now he's shifting his argument and he's arguing on behalf of the eyes. He's saying he pleaded again in behalf of the eyes. Pleading means in this case, so right before the decision for a case is given, what does the judge ask? Do you plead guilty or do you not plead guilty? Have you heard this in movies before? Do you plead guilty? Do you not plead guilty? So basically it is कि आप क्या मानते हो अपने आपका argument क्या है? हर side के argument को सुनने को उनकी plea कहते हैं. Okay? So to lodge a case in the court is also your plea to the court. Okay? ये मेरी problem है. That's it. मेरा पूरा घर का सामान चोरी हो जाए, भगवान करे ऐसा नहीं हो किसी के साथ. Let's hope that never happens, touch wood. But in case that happens, then you have a plea to the court or plea to the police officer and all of that, then that happens. Okay? So that is where this pleaded comes from. Okay? Then he pleaded again on behalf of the eyes. Okay? But what were his arguments? Very few people know. We don't know what the arguments were. For the court did not think they were equally wise. Okay? The court did not like those arguments. इतनी smart या wise, intelligent arguments नहीं थे. Okay? Now let's see what happens after this. Who wants to read this part? Vicky, can you hear us?
Yes, Didi.
Yes. आपको read करना है ये वाला paragraph?
कौन सा दीदी?
ये last वाला. So his lordship.
Okay. So his lordship decreed with a grave, solemn tone, decisive and clear, without one if you but that whenever the nose put his spectacles on by daylight on or candlelight, eyes should be shut.
Perfect. Very well read. So now the decision was against the eyes, right? So the eyes no longer own the spectacles. So look at the funny decision that he has given. He's saying, so his lordship decreed. Decreed is basically to give, as your book says, to give an official sort of an announcement or order. In the court of law, just wo karte hai na, order, and then they make the announcement. That's what he's talking about. Okay. And with a grave, solemn tone. It's, the tone of a judge is very different from how I talk or you talk, right? It's more like, Shahnaz Sheikh is now now she's not guilty of blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's a different tone. It's a heavier tone. It's not funny at all. It's not very fun to listen to. Okay, so that's a solemn tone. Solemn also is sort of slightly on the sadder side. Okay, then let's say as compared to the excited, happy side. Okay, decisive and clear. Okay, that whatever his decision was, it was decisive, it was clear. Decisive or indecisive, ये two words and का meaning साथ में समझते हैं. To be decisive means I am very decisive. I know what I want. Okay, if you want me to decide, what decide करना मतलब decision, कोई चीज को अपना decision लेना. Decision तो सबको पता है as a word. Everybody knows the meaning of this word. ठीक है? Decision में लेना means कोई चुनना किसी चीज को, डिसाइड करना. ठीक है, कोई चॉइस करना,
फैसला करना.
Yes, thank you. Faisla is the exact word in Hindi. Okay, for decision. All right. So to be decisive means to be able to easily make these decisions. What do you like? Pink or blue? Blue. Perfect. Immediately.
दीदी जैसे बोलते ना, मैं अपने होशो आराम से बोल रहा हूँ.
Yeah, that is different. But that is saying that I am in my senses. वो different होता है. यहाँ पे जो कोर्ट ने decision दिया, the court knew that it was right. कोर्ट ने arguments सुने, जो arguments made more sense. Decisively, ये जानते हुए कि मेरा decision change नहीं होगा, they gave the answer. Okay. The second word is indecisive. Indecisive means decisive के आगे आपने in लगा दिया, in. इसका क्या मतलब होता है? वो लोग जो easily अपना decision नहीं बना पाते हैं. The opposite of decisive. A lot of us people, I for one, am very indecisive. Okay, you take me shopping with you and it'll take me 1 hour to select one small little pen because I'm so indecisive. I'm like, but this one is also nice, no? But this is also, what do I take? That means you're not able to make a decision. Let's say I'm the kind of person, if I have to make food, then it'll take me so long to decide what to make. Then it'll be too late to then make the food. Okay, so that is being indecisive. That means it takes a long time or it is very difficult for you to make decisions. So the quote here, yes, Neha, you have a doubt?
Like whenever we have to go any party, so we can't decide what to wear or something.
Yes, perfect. That's being indecisive. Okay, perfect example. So the quote was decisive, the quote was clear. Without one if or but. कोई उन्होंने if or but को, if you have to directly translate into Hindi, जो करते हैं ना हम लोग कि ये करेगी वो करे, कोई ये वो नहीं किया कोर्ट ने. If or but कुछ नहीं की. If this happens, that we might change it. No, there were no ifs and buts. It was a certain solid solution or judgment here in this case, that whenever the nose put his spectacles on. So the court ने क्या decide किया कि nose जीत गई. The argument was who owns these spectacles that so many people wear. Who owns these spectacles? Is it the nose or is it the eyes? Now the court has decided that the nose owns these spectacles. Okay. So what was the judgment or what was the solution that was given was that whenever nose put on his spectacles, in daylight or by candlelight, eyes should be shut. Eyes की नहीं है, so eyes should not use these spectacles at all. तो आपने चश्मा पहना हो, कोई भी टाइम हो रहा, आंखें बंद होगी आपकी. Your eyes can't use these spectacles because eyes don't use them. Okay? Does this decision? Okay, tell me. Let's start here. Does this decision make sense at all? No? Yes. Okay. Yes, Lakshmi, go ahead.
I think दीदी ईयर को जीतना चाहिए.
Okay. But let's say, go ahead.
यस दीदी, अभी चश्मा हम पहनते तो दोनों साइड का सपोर्ट ईयर पे जाता है ना. खाली नोज पे रहेगा, सपोज ईयर नहीं होता तो खाली नोज होता, थोड़ी ना हम चश्मा पहन पाते. तो ईयर जीतना चाहिए.
That's a great argument, Lakshmi. But what I'll do is I'll send a picture of the kind of spectacles that used to exist in the old times. उसमें ना पीछे तक का नहीं होता था, वो सिर्फ यहीं पे होता था, इतना छोटा सा होता था. Have you seen some people used to hold it also, keep it on the nose and what, like the spectacles were like this. So not all spectacles back then used to have these things. But yes, in today's time, this is also a good argument. The ears could also own these spectacles. Okay. I am asking, does this decision of the court, does this decision make sense? How will that person live? What do you guys think?
बट आइस की वजह से हम लोग नोज को इतना पेन देते हैं, उसके ऊपर लगाते हैं.
Yes. Muskan's argument was this since the starting. It's a good argument. And that is what common sense says. You know, Muskan, this is what common sense is. It's common sense that we wear specs so that eyes can see better. Of course, the spectacles rest on the nose because they have to rest on something so that they can stay here on this height. But we wear them so that the eyes can see better. That is common sense. But did the court see that? Was the court able to see that? No, right? That is why it's a satire. Okay?
Didi, everything is dependent to any other person. हम भी किसी के ऊपर dependent, तो सब कुछ किसी चीज के ऊपर dependent है, कोई individual नहीं है. तो कोई ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता कि हाँ मैं किसी पे dependent नहीं हूँ. ऐसा बोलना थोड़ा
impossible होगा. Definitely.
Yes, दीदी. तो इसलिए आइस तो ये सपोर्ट तो होगा ही, क्योंकि सपोज दीदी हम बोलते हैं ना हम एक परिवार है, तो ये बॉडी पार्ट भी एक परिवार की तरह ही है.
Definitely. Completely agree. You know, in today's world or even back in those days, it's very difficult to say because the air you're breathing, it's purified because of a reason. You know, the fact that you can walk on earth, some of the land that we live on, that has been leveled by people. That is why that land exists as flat land. You know, for those of you who live close by to Kulaba, there's a part of Kulaba. So Kulaba used to be independent of Mumbai. It was like an island. So it was connected to the rest of the land. You know, even now we have bridges like Sea Link that connect other areas. So some of the places that we live are completely man-made. So how can you say you're living independently when you're living on something that was made by another person? Forget everything. Yeah.
हम 4th स्टैंडर्ड में ना एक पोयम था कि सब झगड़ रहे थे कि नोज पूरा स्मेल लेता है, आइस देखता है, माउथ चबाता है, खाली पेट को कुछ काम नहीं है, वो खाली खाना उसके रहता है. सबसे आलसी है वो, स्टमक सबसे आलसी है, बाकी और बॉडी पार्ट बहुत काम के है. ऐसा एग्रीमेंट चल रहे थे. फिर लास्ट में पता चला अगर हमारे अंदर एनर्जी नहीं होगा तो हमारे बॉडी पार्ट कैसे काम करेंगे. तो सबको कॉपरेट करके चलना चाहिए. कोई इंडिविजुअल करेगा तो वो काम हो ही नहीं सकता. तो इसमें टीम वर्क ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो लास्ट में वो सॉल्व हो गया.
You know, this example.
सब लोग
this example that Lakshmi is giving is a great example. But in this case, they were going to solve a problem. They were actually genuinely looking for a solution. In William Cowper's poem, he was trying to highlight the flaw of the judicial system. We think that the judicial system is great. It's perfect. It's giving justice, right? That is what it stands for. It's the judiciary, right? सबको न्याय मिल रहा है. न्यायपालिका कहते हैं. Judiciary, justice system कहते हैं. Right? लोगों को justice देने के लिए. But are people getting that justice? That's the question that he's asking to all of us. Right? Do you think this argument, because it was argued in a court, it was properly done, right? How cases should be argued. But did that result in a solution? Or did that result in getting justice to anyone? It was not justice for the nose. It was, I mean, it was kind of justice for the nose, but it was not justice for the person himself, right? Because if you have to close your eyes every time you wear specs, then you will just stop wearing specs because you're wearing specs for your eyes, right? So that's why he has written it like a satire. So this is what satires are like. Okay? Satires ye bring out karte. Okay, we have around 10 minutes. What we'll do is I want to quickly, I'm going to show you guys, we've done this discussion a couple of times, but I'm going to show you guys your syllabus. And let's do this. Let's select what we're going to do for the writing. Okay? Because some of this is common for all of you, some of that isn't. Okay? So, isko pehle ek baar confirm karte hain, and then we will take it from there. All right? Okay. So, after this poem, this was the last piece of poetry or prose that was left. Okay? Poetry and prose pura khatam ho gaya. Now comes writing skills and drama. Drama mein humne history of drama khatam kar diya tha. A Midsummer Night's Dream is there for some of you. Okay? But uske liye I'm going to teach it slightly differently. I want you guys to understand a couple of things about that play before we actually do it. Okay? Because we will start it in the middle of the play. Starting se pura play nahi hai aapki book mein. Okay, so we're going to do it slightly differently. That I will give you. But before we do that, and that we'll do on an extra lecture, okay? Because not a lot of you have it. On the other hand, writing skills is something that a lot of you have, right? From writing skills, we have already done expansion of ideas and blog writing, okay? Now, emails, interview, film review, or art of comparing. ये चारों सबके कोर्स में है. जिसके कोर्स में ये सारे के सारे हैं, एक मेरे को थम्स अप दे दो. Okay, so Muskan, Shahnaz, and Vicky have all 4 of these. Okay. Karishma, do you also want to give a thumbs up, or do you have a question? Okay, she wanted to give a thumbs up. All right. So then we'll start with this. We will have Vicky bolo.
बट मैम दीदी मेरा एग्जाम हो गया.
आपका एग्जाम इंग्लिश का हो गया?
हाँ.
Okay, I did not know when your exam was. Let's do this. आपका क्योंकि एग्जाम हो गया है, so tell us आपका एग्जाम कैसा गया है, और send your question paper on the group so that we'll also see what kind of questions came. Okay?
Okay दीदी.
कैसा गया आपका एग्जाम वैसे? अभी एक बार एक आध वर्ड में बताओ तो.
नॉर्मल अच्छा गया, मतलब ज्यादा हार्ड भी नहीं था, ज्यादा इजी भी नहीं था. मतलब उसमें सब आंसर मेरे को आते थे, लेकिन उतना टाइम नहीं मिल पाया करने के लिए. ऐसा.
Okay, that's a great feedback. So I'm happy that you knew things, right? That's good. But this is great feedback for all of you also. Practice writing, okay? Because we haven't practiced writing answers in an exam for so long कि हमारी writing की speed भी उतनी तेज नहीं है. और 11th में आके आपको ज़्यादा लिखना होगा. Like FYJC is writing more than what you used to, right? So let's practice writing a couple of answers. Okay? All right. So Vicky's exams are over. But so we'll do all 4 of these writing skills. Okay. Now I don't exactly know when exactly your exams are placed, but जितने भी लोग बच्चे हैं उनका होली के बाद तो है at least, right? So what we'll do is जो हमारे film reviews हैं, the film reviews and let's say film reviews and email writing, we can do two of these topics in one class. Because it's not a very lengthy topic, we can complete 2 in one class, half an hour mein ho jayega. So in the next 2 classes we should be able to finish all of these. So what we'll do is we'll have a class tomorrow, all right, on Friday. So at least all those of you who are here, I want you guys to come tomorrow because I take an extra class and only one person comes. Now I know most of you, sorry, my dogs have started barking. I know most of you go back and watch the recording. But it's good if you attend live, right? You can ask doubts, okay? So the class will happen from 6 to 7. I'll see you guys then. All right. I'll come to now Lakshmi and Sneha के doubts. Lakshmi, go ahead. क्या doubt है आपको?
Yes, दीदी हम लोग का writing skill वही आएगा, summary, writing, expand the themes और इंटरव्यू और ईमेल्स, बस इतने ही। और वो डेमोक्रेसी 2 ऊपर के थे, 1.1 और 1.2। और हिस्ट्री ऑफ ड्रामा, द राइज ऑफ हिस्ट्री ड्रामा, वो तीनों पार्ट्स है ना ड्रामा के, वो इतने ही आएंगे। उनमें जो लास्ट के 3 है ना, हिस्ट्री ऑफ ड्रामा और 2, उसी के टोटल 14 मार्क्स कवर होंगे। बाकी राइटिंग स्किल और पैराग्राफ, बस ऐसे उन्होंने बताया।
Okay, perfect. Then mostly we have covered whatever is going to come for your exam, right? So we'll finish this writing skills and then we'll be done. Yes, Neha, go ahead.
Even Didi, I'm not having everything in grammar. I'm just having email and blog writing. And unseen passage, unseen poetry, that only I'm having.
Unseen passage and poetry. Okay, so for some of the poems that I had done, I had started with the concept of unseen poetry, right? I wanted you to read it like it was unseen poetry. That is why I want to finish off this section 3 writing skills wala also soon, so that we can have one class when we are discussing unseen passages and poetry. Okay, there are some things that you can do, that you can prepare for when it comes to that. So we will do that. We will cover that. उससे पहले so blog writing हमने कर लिया है, emails and interview, film reviews and art of comparing. What I'll do is I'm going to cover interview and film reviews together, and then I'll cover art.
We are not.
Sorry.
Didi, we are not having holiday tomorrow.
अच्छा tomorrow होली है ना? Okay.
But दीदी हम लोग अटेंड करेंगे, आप रखो क्लास.
No, it will be difficult for me also because people might come to my house. So let's not keep it on holy. Saturday को free हो आप लोग? Does Saturday work?
No, the 2 से 4
Saturday will be our.
दीदी चलेगा सैटरडे को आई थिंक, क्योंकि क्लासेस तो 2 to 4 होते हैं ना, फिर तो आप तो 6 बजे लेते हो, तो अपने पास टाइम है.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll have to confirm with Rayaz ma'am as well. So we'll confirm all of that. We'll finalize that. If not, then we'll come in for the coming Thursday and we'll finish these off, right? But we'll finish these off. This is what the flow is going to look like whenever we have our next class. Okay. All right. Monday works. I'm going to send messages on the group, so keep track of that. Happy Holi in advance. Have a good Holi. I love you guys. Take care, okay? And start preparing for your exams. Yes, Mohan, you want to say something? Mohan, can you hear me? Sorry, Vicky.
दीदी क्वेश्चन पेपर सेंड करूं?
हाँ, क्वेश्चन पेपर एक बार आप ग्रुप पे भेज दो, हम लोग उसको क्लास में भी डिस्कस करेंगे.
ठीक.
Okay.
Happy Holi दीदी. Happy Holi to all.
Happy Holi everyone.
Happy Holi Didi. Take care. Stay safe. Okay.
Bye Didi. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye. Have a great.
Bye Didi.
Bye
Thank
Didi.
you. Bye Didi.
Most welcome. Bye bye.